Good morning.
Good morning,
everyone, and welcome to the Sunday morning service
here at the Unitarian Universalist
Fellowship in Laguna Beach.
We are so glad that you joined us today for worship at UUFLB. The land on which we join together in worship is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Ahashimen and Tongva tribes. We acknowledge these indigenous peoples as traditional land caretakers who, in the face of settler colonialism, continue to claim their place and to act as stewards to protect their ancestral lands and the earth as they have for the past 8,000 years. We offer our gratitude to the First Nations for their care of the earth and for their teachings. And really, with humility, we commit to learning and to working on behalf of justice. Each Sunday, anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is the symbol of our faith. And so if you've joined us this morning by Zoom, I invite you to light a chalice within your home if you wish. Our chalice lighting words this morning were written by Reverend Lisa Day of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Savannah. What if sometimes it's not about a light in the darkness? What if sometimes it's about sparking potential into possibility and possibility into existence? What if sometimes the flame that burns in the chalice of our faith is nothing less than the ember of hope and nothing more than love set ablaze? What if sometimes all we need to do is follow this flame, one among scores, hundreds, thousands of steadily flickering flames across the land and among so many peoples on the way to justice and into the land of peace? What if we dare to kindle that chalice? My name is Pamela Flodman, and I will be serving as the worship associate this morning. And we owe so many thanks to all who have joined together this week, as we do every week, to make worship possible. Our worship committee, our board, our Zoom and AV techs, all those who help take care of the building and ensure that we have beautiful music as part of every worship service. We are grateful for all the members and friends of this congregation, an amazing team of people who make it possible for us to gather for worship on Sunday mornings and to continue our work in community throughout each week. So thank you all. At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation with a commitment to work together to make a difference and to actively dismantle systemic racism and oppression in all of its forms. Whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your age or gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, or your life experiences, whatever has brought you here this morning and whatever sincere questions you bring with you today, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow as spiritual and ethical beings, and to be part of a community which supports each of us as we work to make a difference in the world. This morning, we are so delighted to welcome our guest speaker, Reverend Tom Owen-Towle, who is a longtime friend of this congregation. Reverend Tom has been a parish minister since 1967, and he is the author of 24 books on personal growth, social justice, progressive spirituality. He sings in nursing homes, mentors youth, he volunteers at his local homeless center. He is an incredibly busy person, and yet he found a way to make the time to come here and be with us in person today. And he wrote that he is always honored to return to the pulpit of our Laguna Beach congregation. But I want to say we're honored to have the opportunity to have Reverend Tom here in our midst. Today's service is entitled, Let Your Light Shine, Shine, Shine. And as we launch another spring in the throes of most challenging times, It is time for Unitarian Universalists to rise up and shine boldly for the dank and dreary world to enjoy our progressive lights. Let your light shine, shine, shine. This morning, our gathering music video was Grateful, a love song for the world, and it was created by Nemo Patel and Daniel Namod. 10 years ago, it was inspired by a 21-day gratitude challenge, and they brought together dozens of people from across the world to create this song as a celebration of our spirit and all that is a blessing in life. And for me, this music is a reminder of the many ways in which we are called to let our lights shine in keeping with our sixth principle. And the principles are on the back of your order of service. If you haven't picked up an order of service, they are in the back of the sanctuary on the table. Again, this wonderful music reminds me of the sixth principle. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And so for our centering thought this morning, I have chosen these words from our opening video. All that I am, all that I see, all that I've been, and all that I'll ever be is a blessing. It's so amazing, and I'm grateful for it all. Now on the slide that Dawn will put up for us shortly is information about upcoming services here at UUFLB, and we hope you're able to join us either in person or by Zoom. Next Sunday on April 21st, Don West Jr., a member of this congregation and a member of our board, will be here in person for part of his monthly series on services that he will lead. So I know we're all looking forward to seeing Don next week in person. Then on April 28th, we have a social justice Sunday, and Nicole Ramos is returning to talk with us about her ongoing work with Al Otro Lado, which is an organization committed to legal support for individuals who are immigrating to the country across the southern border. In a similar theme, then on May 5th, Ana Miguel will be returning to talk with us about the work of Border Angels, which is a group committed to making sure that there are provisions and especially water available to individuals as they make that journey. So I know those are two services that are really important to our hearts. On May 12th, Yvette McDonald will be returning to lead our service, and many of you may remember former visits from Yvette as she led the services here at UUFLB. For announcements, I wanted to first announce that there is a board meeting this week. The board meeting is on Monday, tomorrow, April 15th at 6 p.m. And the board meeting is held by Zoom, and you are encouraged to attend if you wish. And if you need to receive the link for the board meeting, you can speak with Dara, and we will be able to get you a link for the board meeting tomorrow afternoon. Also on Tuesday this week, we have a worship committee meeting. So this happens to be a week when there's back-to-back meetings. That doesn't usually happen. But we do have a worship committee meeting this week at 7 p.m. also by Zoom, and you're encouraged and welcome to attend if you wish. Also, always on Mondays, Zoom at noon, Paul Bogdan helps to host an opportunity for people to come together to share and support each other. So that will be happening by Zoom tomorrow morning at noon. Do we have, I do have one other announcement. I also wanted to encourage everyone, as you noticed, both the board and the worship committee meet by Zoom, and that makes it a very accessible meeting, and really anyone is able to attend, but also perhaps choose to participate in either joining the board or putting your name forward to potentially join the board or joining the worship committee, because you don't have to be here physically located in Laguna Beach to join the board or to join the worship committee. So please be in contact with me, Dawn, Dara, or Oakley if you're interested in exploring how you might join one of these important committees. Do we have any other announcements? Rachel. Right. Thank you, Rachel. And I'll just briefly repeat for those on Zoom. Next Sunday, as it is the Sunday that Dawn will be here in person, we've also identified that as a Sunday when we focus on letter writing. And we have a letter writing campaign where individuals within the congregation are reaching out to individuals who are imprisoned for nonviolent offenses and who really appreciate being brought into community in the way that we can by being able to write letters. And I know we started doing this in earnest last month on the third Sunday of last month, and several of us have already received letters back from the prisoners who've been receiving our communication. So it's a really important piece of what we can do as a community. So thank you very much, Rachel, for bringing that up. Throughout the service this morning, if you are here with us in the building, I invite you, if you wish, to come forward and light a candle here in the sanctuary in recognition of whatever you are carrying in your heart as you join us for worship today. Thank you all for being here today, and especially many, many thanks to Reverend Tom for joining us to share with us as we rise up and shine boldly and as we worship together. We will take a moment now to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. I invite you to read these words together when and if it feels right for you. And if you've joined by Zoom, you may want to unmute your microphone, and then your voice can be joined together with the voices here in the fellowship building. The words of the unison affirmation are on your screens, so please join me in reading. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service
is its law.
This is
This
our
is our great covenant,
to dwell
together in peace,
seek the
to
truth,
seek the truth in love,
help one another.
and to help one another.
It is such a joy for us to have guests on Sunday mornings. If you are here this morning for the first or second time, we'd love to get to know you. So if you are comfortable doing so, would you please stand and share with us your name, where you are from, and what brings you to visit our church today? And I think I'll actually ask those who are on Zoom first. So if you're on Zoom, you don't need to stand, but you do need to raise your hand to let Don know that he can highlight you if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Francie Coleman from Orange Coast UU Church.
Is there anyone
And
in the building? Oh, we do. Sorry.
well,
Go ahead, Francie.
I'm Francie Coleman. I am a member of the Orange Coast UU Church, and I occasionally drop in here too. And I'm here especially to hear Tom, who's an old friend of mine and former minister at San Diego.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here in the building who would like to stand and introduce yourself? Hi.
My name is Winnie Wood, and I've attended for over the years. And we didn't know last year here, but we were going to meet people at Earth Cafe.
Huh?
park your car, so you wouldn't have to pay for parking. We walk by your church. It's happy Sunday. So I've always go.
Wonderful. Welcome, Wendy.
Stevie, I have the same story.
So welcome to Wendy and Stevie, who found us walking by on their way to Earth Cafe. Okay, well, let's take just a moment this morning to turn to our neighbors for a quick greeting and to offer personal welcome to new friends and to old friends.
Thank you for joining us, Francie. Good morning, Jean. Good morning, Carolyn.
How are you doing, Dawn?
I am excellent, thank you.
Good, good. Well, I have my babies here today, so I'm excellent too.
I had a day off from my dog, so I was happy for them to be gone.
Oh.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for joining us here at UUFLB this morning. And I hope that everyone has a few minutes to stay and enjoy coffee and more conversation here in the building or on the front patio if it's not raining after the service. Our opening hymn this morning is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. So please stand as you are comfortable in body, mind, or spirit, and join our amazing music director, thank you, Carole, in singing.
On the road from greed to giving, love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way. On the road from grief to giving, love will guide us through the hard night.
We will do our call to worship this morning as a responsive reading. So I will give Dawn a minute to pull up the slides with the responsive reading, which is number 470 in the gray hymnal. And it is titled Affirmation by Leonard Mason. So as we read the responsive reading, I will read the words in regular print, and you will respond with the words in italics. We affirm the unfailing renewal of life.
Rising from the earth and reaching for the sun, all living creatures shall fulfill themselves.
We affirm the steady growth of human companionship.
Rising from ancient cradles and reaching for the stars, people the world over shall seek the ways of understanding.
We affirm a continuing hope
That out of every tragedy,
spirit
the spirits of individuals shall rise to build a better world.
better world.
I've chosen for our reading this morning a passage entitled Prayer for this congregation, this church, this fellowship. It's composed by a colleague, friend of ours, Nancy Schaefer. May each one among us have skin that longs to touch other skin, fingertips that long for other fingertips, or hold hands and even arms, bodies that want to stand next to other bodies, not alone, while singing and bending, stirring soup. May ones whose skin doesn't cry out for other skin wish it did, and so teach it, so that no one stands alone, and no one aches and does not say so. May our doors here be so open that it's drafty inside. And people sometimes shout because noises without come also within. May those sheltered here sometimes cry all at once, letting tear water clean what words by themselves cannot. And in silent times, may everyone present hear everyone else breathing and know that this is not separate from how the world breathes all night. May we always have enough room for those who want to come in. And may those who cherish this congregation be so glad that they cannot stop speaking, stop asking. And may that crowding itself be a gladness as we keep adding space. And may we notice each one who is new and invite her to stay. And may our list of names for the holy never be finished. And may we hear God chuckling with us as we still find more names.
We have come to the time in our service to briefly share the important events that have touched our lives in the past week, because truly the joys which we share are amplified. And when we share our sorrows, we can provide for each other the support and care that are vital for all of us. During this time of sharing our joys and concerns, we have paused the recording of the service. That it is as much a blessing to be able to give as it is to receive. And one thing we have learned within this self-governing, self-sustaining community is that it is our responsibility to both give and to receive and to do both well. Our fellowship depends on the love and the generous contributions from our members, and we are empowered by the innumerable gifts of those who join together with us. All of our gifts, time, compassion, humor, financial contribution, all of them generously given are what is needed for this fellowship and for its good work in the world. So during this time of offering, we will be passing a basket within the fellowship, and there will also be information on your screen providing other ways in which you can give. Please rise now in body, mind, or spirit as you are comfortable and join us in singing to one another words of sincere gratitude. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
This morning, we have a service that is full of music. And as a lead into our time of meditation, we will be singing together a meditative hymn, number 143, Not in Vain, the Distance Beckons. The words will be on the screen for you, and you will recognize the melody. Although this is not a hymn we've sung often, it is a hymn that really can speak to us this morning during our service.
Not in vain the distant beacons, forward, forward, let us range. Let the great world speak forever down the ringing grooves of change. Through the shadow of the globe, we sweep ahead to heights sublime. We, the heirs of all the ages, in the foremost fires of time. Oh, we see the crescent promise of that spirit has not set. Ancient founts of inspiration well through all our fancies yet. And we doubt not through the ages one increasing purpose runs, and the thoughts of all the widen with the process of the sun. Yet we dip into the future, far as human eye can see the vision of the world and all the wonder that shall be. Hear the war drum through the longer, see the battle flags unfurled. In Parliament of the Freedom Federation of the world.
Let us join our hearts and minds together in prayer. O eternal Spirit of life and love and liberation, our prayer is simple. Be our companion. Bring comfort to those who are suffering throughout the world in places of strife and terror and war. Bring comfort to those in this country who are oppressed and struggling to find their identity and humanity fulfilled. Bring comfort to those within this congregation who are hurting, who are lonely, who are struggling. Bring comfort to our very own heart. Also bring challenge to those of us who are listless, depressed, we're down. We need to be lifted, stretched to meet the challenge that's right in front of us. The eternal Spirit, bring comfort, bring challenge, and let there be peace and unrest in our lives. Sufficient peace to bring us calm and serenity, but enough unrest to keep us spiritually awake and morally on our toes. Peace and unrest, unrest and peace. Shalom, salam, ashe, namaste, blessed be, and amen. The joy to return. Thanks to Kendra for coordinating all of this, and Pamela for being my worship associate. We could go on the road together. You're so good, really. I mean, I've been around the block in 56 years of ministry, and seldom are the worship associates any finer than Pamela Flodman. And Paul was here when I got here an hour early. Thank you, Paul, for being here. Dara, you're always there. Carole, the music, the energy you bring in the music. And getting to greet all of you personally. It's my joy. I go way back to Chris Schreiner, 60 years in this congregation. Maybe closer to 50 probably. This is an emotional Sunday for me because I could have done this in Zoom, but I wanted to be in person. Because since my wife died this is this, there. My wife died last fall. I'm living dualistically, as they say. I'm honoring the past even as I shape my future. And I'll be moving to Santa Barbara in a couple months to be nearer my daughter. So I don't know, this might be my last time here in person. And I treat that very seriously and poignantly. I'm leaving a gift with you. I hope it's a gift. I brought some copies of my books. I'm giving them to you today. today. And I'll sign them personally. And ones that you don't take, I'm going to leave around because there might be other pilgrims that come by and want to have them. Now, it may come as a surprise, but the word evangel isn't owned by the evangelicals of the world. Evangel simply means good news. And good news dwells at the core of our Unitarian Universalist legacy and mission. So your shining light and my shining light, they need to emerge from underneath the proverbial bushel. Never forget that the world of Laguna Beach and beyond, I got to say a word about Laguna Beach. I'm a native Southern Californian. I've lived in the East Coast, I've lived in the Midwest, but I grew up in Southern California, and our family would come down from LA to Laguna Beach. But if you live in LA, you want to be near the ocean, right? And more than that, I thought about this actually last night. My father-in-law, who was a well-known artist, Millard Sheets, got his start at the age of 16 in 1923 at the Laguna Art Museum. He was in Pomona, Claremont, at Jalopy. He drove down at 16. He entered his first show and was awarded a first place, and then was mentored by Clarence Hinkle and Theodore Modra and other artists. And we're going to have a retrospective show of his paintings coming up. This world here, where you inhabit, hankers for life-affirming, hopeful news, rather than the news that we're beset with daily with fear and judgment. For you and I, as Unitarian Universalists, belong to the heritage of Isaiah, who wrote in the Hebrew Scriptures, Yahweh has anointed me to bring good tidings to the afflicted, sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, and to comfort all who mourn. That's in our heritage. Do we not commit ourselves to bringing good tidings to all who are afflicted? Do we not aspire to live lives of liberation, freeing ourselves and others from all sorts of slaveries of mind and body and heart and soul? You bet we do at our best, at our fullest as Unitarian Universalists, because we belong to a living tradition of bearers of good news, wondrous news, liberal, liberating news. One of my favorite stories is of Mortimer Arias, a Methodist bishop in Bolivia. And he was visiting a congregation in an extremely poor part of a Bolivian city where people were actually starving. And on Sunday morning, he presided at the communion table. The congregation was singing a joyful hymn. The table was spread with an embroidered cloth, and on it stood a chalice and a loaf of bread. Just as the hymn was ending, a small boy slipped through the open doors at the back of the parish, a child of the streets, and he raced up to the center aisle to the communion table, and he grabbed the sacramental bread and he began to eat it. Hey, what are you doing? The bishop cried. The child stopped eating. Then he stared at the bishop and said with a face full of utter joy, "Well, they told me there was bread in this church, so I came to get me some." And a little child shall lead us on our mission. The hurting of humanity always force the issue, don't they? So that's the telling question for you and me. Does our progressive gospel offer real spiritual and material nourishment to young and old alike, to all who go hungry and happen upon us, whether it's within this building or out in the streets or in the community where we live? Does our Unitarian Universalist outpost here in Laguna Beach furnish nutritious bread for the body and the spirit? Can you get fed here? And then we move to feed others. I confess, after 56 years in our movement, I'm tired of our Unitarian Universalist gospel, our good news being hidden, being misinterpreted, being trivialized. I'm weary of people confusing us with unification, the Moonies, or universal life, a mail order ministry. It's time to let our true light shine, and then keep on shining all our days and nights on this earth. Is it too much to ask that the world start to recognize, if not appreciate us for who we really are? I mean, being agreed with isn't a fundamental human need, but being understood, that is. But there's more that disturbs me. Outsiders not knowing who we are, what we stand for, where we're located, that's trouble enough. But too many insiders, our own partisans, are prone to dismiss their chosen religion as well. Self-insults really sting. There are card-carrying Unitarian Universalists scattered throughout our 1,000+ congregations in North America who consider themselves political action centers with a side order of spirituality, or like-minded social guilds. Or sometimes I'm embarrassed to repeat, spit and argue clubs. My fellow progressives, please be aware that such assessments are erroneous and debasing. The truth is that you and I, for better or for worse, have cast our lot with a bona fide religious enterprise, whatever our size might be. The enduring center of Unitarian Universalism is historically rooted, theologically rich, ethically courageous, and unabashedly spiritual. You and I have joined a religion comprised of mystical activists, compassionate change agents. We belong to an honorable, worthy heritage despite our ample warts. But if we're hesitant to promote ourselves as a genuine religion, why should we expect a disinterested world to do so? I'm bold enough to claim that the world would be better off if there were more Unitarian Universalists practicing our faith. So, whether you're a chronic Unitarian Universalist such as I, or an utter newbie who happened upon our Long Beach, Laguna Beach worship service this morning, you've chosen to celebrate in a religious communion that possesses a magnificent gospel, what the Universalists rightly called the larger hope, the larger hope. We harbor good news, really good news. But just why? Why am I making this case? Why are we a good news religion? Well, we're one because we focus upon the delights and the duties of this world rather than waiting around for full benefits in some fanciful realm. Why? Because ours is a religion that's committed to saving everyone, not merely our own skins or clans. Why is our place a source of good news? Because we distinguish between the necessary pangs of conscience and the regrettable paralysis of guilt. But there's even more substance to our good news. We have the capacity to be and do good, to make real and lasting differences during our earthly stays. You and I matter. We matter this afternoon in the way that we treat whatever passes our path. Ours is a life-affirming faith that believes that human beings can build beloved communities as you have built and continue to sustain here in Laguna Beach, right where we're planted, not waiting around for some realm hereafter. That we contend, and this is really good news, that no moral or social problem exists that can't be thoughtfully and compassionately engaged. I didn't say solved. I said thoughtfully and compassionately engaged. And we are a religion that insists that souls are renewable. Society is reformable. That's good. That's stupendous news. And it's inherent in our history, in our ideals, when we dare to embody them. We don't have to grope around for something upbeat. We don't have to manipulate or spin our message. Unitarian Universalism is a hopeful gospel at core, and we are its bearers. What a blessing. What a calling. But I don't want to fool anyone, particularly myself, because I'm such a hopeful person. We promote good news, but not sappy or dreamy-eyed news. Ours is a relentlessly realistic religion. Our gospel doesn't naively argue that life's injustices can be eradicated overnight, or in a few weeks, or even during our lifetimes. We concede also that evil dwells within us. Within us. Yet ours remains a religion that summons us to advance step by step by step, maintaining that compassionate talk and walk and grow some corn, as Native Americans are wont to say. Grow some corn. Our gospel promotes chastened hopefulness in an age filled with dealers of gloom and pushers of mushiness. Jesus often said, "Be of good cheer." But when he did, the Nazarene never used the Aramaic equivalent of cheerio. Cheerio, no. Be of good cheer. Much deeper than cheerio. Cheerio. Avoiding the extreme of cynicism while spreading a resilient confidence. Progress, not perfection. Talk about good news. Look at our name. I'm convinced that we will contribute mightily toward the healing of our single precious planet if we only resemble our name. Unitarian Universalism. What's in our name? Lots, if we live up to it. Unitarianism asserts that the cosmos is unitary. Reality is ultimately interconnected. Divine reality is one, as Thich Nhat Hanh calls it, interbeing. What a blessing for those of us who don't really want to travel alone, who covet living in partnership at every level of existence. Unitarianism also decrees that every unit of life is worthwhile and to be treated as such. Again, that's good news. Our chosen faith believes that we can convert life into a just and joyous journey. And if I'm not mistaken, there are countless folks across the land, indeed in this Southern California region, who hunger for such a heartening view of human potential. and Universalism. That's the door I came in through in Troop Memorial in Pasadena. I'm a Universalist at heart. The good news that there's an infinite love that brought us into existence, that has nurtured and challenged us during our lifetimes and will be there upon our death. I don't need to debate it. I don't need to discuss it. I just need to sing it and share it, try to live into that love. A loving embrace from start to finish. No exceptions. No exceptions. That means even the shaggiest and the shadiest creatures are welcome ultimately. Our gospel urges us to come as we are, moving on the road toward whom we might become. Every living soul matters in our faith. Is there better news than that? Is there more spacious, inclusive, loving news than that? I don't think so. Either everyone is worthy to be saved or no one is. We shun no living being. And in recent times, we've even upped the ante by exhorting humanity to treat the beasts of the field and the birds of the sky and the fish of the sea as animated, soulful, and with enduring value. I want to give you a couple stories from my ministry. So it's not just theology today. The first tale is of a colleague of mine whose 17-year-old daughter tried to commit suicide. And she failed and was placed in a mental hospital. And a friend of the family from their congregation learned of her plight and went to visit. And as she leaned down to hug her friend's daughter, the young woman reached upward and stared at the caring face. And then, upon recognizing the flaming chalice worn around her visitor's neck, perhaps you wear one too, firmly clutched that chalice as if it were a life-saving relic. Can we appreciate the enormous restorative power contained in our simple and few religious artifacts, as well as incarnated in our very physical presence, showing up, being present when there is suffering? This teenager, caught in the throes of despair, was in essence feeling deep support upon the sight of our flaming chalice. She was in effect saying, I know I'm still loved because my parish actively loves me. My faith holds me in the grasp of love. This young woman was assisted in her healing by the delivery of our gospel. We showed up. Our light shone. Our good news was incarnated so that this young woman could begin to turn her life around because someone turned up. Our faith showed up. Oh, stories you could tell of your own odyssey, family, friends, members of this congregation. My second example illustrates the potential impact of our good news in the public arena. A fellow Unitarian Universalist friend of mine, Bruce, doesn't own a car. So he rides the buses daily to and from his work, as well as to our congregational functions. And Bruce has his own version of Unitarian Universalist. He's condensed it down to 25 words. Nothing long like I'm sharing. It fits in a card. And then he prints it in colorful cards, and he probably puts a design on there too. And during his daily dialogues on the buses and streets of his town, when the moment seems right, he will announce that he's a practicing Unitarian Universalist, or as he puts it really, I'm a Unitarian Universalist in training. And then he asks if his new acquaintance might be interested in knowing what he has found in our religion that brings him meaning, keeps him going. And when people are curious, no pressure, but when people are curious, he testifies to Unitarian Universalism as he knows it in his heart. And then he leaves him with a card filled with information about his chosen congregation on the backside. It's always respectful. It's what I call low-key evangelism, okay? It's not conversion, it's conversation, it's connection. So what I'm sharing today is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I'm urging us to claim our gospel, to celebrate our good news, to clarify it, to cherish it, and finally, to convey it in our own special manner, to let your light shine. Shine. And shine some more. We shine our light. We honor our heritage whenever we dare to wear a chalice or evangelize face to face. Whenever we listen carefully without recoiling to angry youth in our neighborhood, or sustain a lover's quarrel with our government on specific issues. We shine our light whenever we reconcile with an estranged relative or spend real time with a child at risk. And I've thought a lot about that. I'm not sure there isn't a child at risk today. Just spend time with a child, because everyone in the room is 18 or above today. Spend time with someone younger. It's not Milton Friedman, it's another Friedman. A gerontologist has written a book, How to Live Forever. And his answer is, if you're an elder or crone, spend time with someone in the younger generation. You can start with your own family, but go beyond your family. Spend some time with the younger generation, swapping notes on the joys and the sorrows that they have and your joys and sorrows. That's how we're going to live forever. For as long as this planet has. And yes, whenever we venture anti-oppression work that's beyond our comfort zone, or join an interfaith group to appreciate the deeper meanings of their chosen gospel, our light shines whenever we take a walk with a child or a youth that doesn't belong to our family. Or we spend time in a nearby nursing home visiting people that don't know who we are. Or we boldly green our little corner of the earth. Our light shines whenever we make sure that our discretionary money goes to causes and people who need it, as well as juggle spiritual disciplines of private meditation and public protest. Our light shines. It could shine this afternoon at 4:30. It could shine next Thursday when you're not expecting it to shine. Or someone shines on you or me, and that kindles our flame. All I'm asking today is to sing our gospel, spread our gospel, shine our gospel. 5% more than you're accustomed to doing. And this universe will be better for us, for our gift. May it come to pass. May it come to pass.
Now, please stand as you are comfortable in body, mind, or spirit, and join Carole in singing hymn number 118, This Little Light of Mine, words to inspire us to go out and shine our lights in the world.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Now is the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes with words from Reverend Brian Keeley. The chalice is now extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and souls of each one of you. Carry that flame with you as you leave this place and share it with those you know, with those you love, and most especially with those you have yet to meet.
Chosen words for our closing benediction are from John Murray, who came over from England. He was being persecuted. He left England in the early 1700s to establish Universalism in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And these are the words he offered. They're still worth trying to embody. Let us share them in unison. Go out into the highways and byways. Give the people
something of your new vision.
who possess a small
A
light.
small light,
Cover it.
uncover it,
Let it
let
shine.
it shine.
Use it in
Use
order
it in order to bring more light and
and
understanding
to the
to the
hearts
hearts
minds of
and minds, men and women.
give them not hell,
No,
but
but
hope,
hope and courage.
kindness,
Preach the kindness and the everlasting love of us.
Please join me in singing Let There Be Peace.
Please join me.
You can join form a circle if you'd like.
You can join for a circle if you'd like.
Up the mountains of San Bernardino. Big Bear Camp, 1950s. And different cultures and races and religious backgrounds were present at that occasion. Young people, I was blessed to be one of them. This song, we brought it, we debuted it in the mountains, it came back down, and we're singing it now.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, we are family. Let us walk with each other in peaceful harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a lovely day.